Hello everyone, this is Kayvon Atkinson again, and I'm here today to discuss just a couple aspects of Chapter 7 that I thought were worth discussing. My first question is over pest control, and specifically over birds. Now, why is using poison for birds considered a last resort? It is stated in the book that like decoy predator birds were used and things to kind of scare the birds away, or even physical barriers. Why is poison considered a last resort for these pests? But pesticides and rodenticides are encouraged, for the other pests, of course. The book seemed to really describe birds in a really horrible and negative sense. They have all these parasites and in their feces, and they carry all these mites and things like that. One would think that if they pose this huge threat, and if they're able to somehow weasel their way into a building, why wouldn't a more extreme measure be needed, especially if they are airborne? Their feces can, literally flies out of the sky. So it was just kind of odd to me that, if they're presented in this manner as, they're such a nuisance and they carry all these horrible negative aspects with them, why wouldn't almost a more cost-effective manner, using a poison or some kind of birdicide, or something of that effect, why would that be considered a last resort, versus buying potentially more expensive, physical barriers and things of this nature. Again, it was just kind of confusing as well, because rats and bugs, for me at least, they would create almost a larger nuisance than birds. They're, rats and bugs, they're really designed to kind of weasel their way into places, and I personally, while I don't have a food manufacturing facility at my house, I've never had bird problems in my house. It's usually rats or insects if those are presented issues. So one would think that in a larger facility with more food that this would also be a larger issue, but so I just thought that was kind of neat. And my other question is over HACCP systems. And, we all know how vitally important HACCP systems are to a food production facility to create the safest product possible. But with it being so incredibly important, I found it interesting, and it is stated earlier in the book as well in different chapters, that HACCP systems are not required. It's a voluntary thing. They're not federally, a lot of aspects of HACCP systems are not really federally regulated. There are some FDA HACCP systems in place, for it was aspects such as canning and various pH foods, or foods where their pH is more extreme and can create more contaminant growth. I just thought it was interesting that all food companies don't have these regulations, because they can all potentially have their own hazards as far as in their food production facility. So kind of logically, it would make sense to have a nationally regulated hazard system to make food products as safe as possible. So just tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and have a good night.